Okay, so get this. You're prepping for this interview, right? To become an import-export specialist in fruit and vegetables, that's got to be pretty cool dealing with all that delicious produce all day. But maybe also a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, totally.
Well, today we are going to dive deep right into these RoleCatcher's career and interview guides
Yeah.
to help you just totally ace that interview. So it's like
Yeah.
we're giving you this backstage pass to the mind of the hiring manager. We're going to figure out exactly what they want and how to stand out from everyone else trying to get the job.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Awesome. So before we get all, into the nitty-gritty of the interview questions and stuff, let's just sort of set the scene, okay? Like, what does an import-export specialist in fruit and veggies, what do they actually do all day?
Well, it's a lot more than just knowing, like, your apples from your oranges.
Right, of course.
You're really the maestro of moving produce around the world, making sure everything runs smoothly, like from the farm to the table, wherever those tables are.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Orchestrating like a global fruit basket. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
But the career guide, it goes even deeper than that, right? It talks about some of the nitty-gritty day-to-day things that this specialist has to handle.
Yeah, for sure. Think of it kind of like a giant global puzzle, right?
Yeah.
You're putting together all of these pieces, logistics, regulations, and of course, delicious produce. You're going to be dealing with customs forms, making sure every shipment is following all those crazy international trade laws. And we can't forget food safety, right? Got to make sure those mangoes arrive in perfect condition.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay, so there's a lot more to it than I think I initially thought. The work environment section of the guide, it even says high pressure setting, like what makes this role so demanding?
Well, imagine coordinating shipments from like a banana plantation in Ecuador all the way to, a supermarket chain in France. You're juggling these tight deadlines, dealing with, things that can go bad really fast, and then all these unexpected problems popping up, like weather delays or some new regulation that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no kidding.
It can be pretty intense.
Wow, that does sound pretty intense, actually. I can like feel the adrenaline pumping already. But, for someone who loves a challenge and is really passionate about fresh produce, I mean, this role could be really rewarding.
Totally. And speaking of rewards, the career guide does mention that there is potential for high earnings and great career growth in this field.
Oh, okay. All right, now we're talking. But first, we have to, get through those interview questions. RoleCatcher has identified 10 really common ones, and we're going to go through each one step by step.
Sounds good.
Ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, question number 1. This is like the one they always hit you with right out of the gate. Can you explain your experience with customs regulations and documentation? Why is this like the classic opening question?
It's really all about figuring out your baseline knowledge. Do you really understand the complexities of international trade? Have you actually dealt with customs procedures before? That's what they want to know.
Okay, so it's not enough to just be like, yep, I filled out some forms before.
No, definitely not. You need to give them specific examples from your experience, even if it wasn't specifically with produce. Have you ever had to handle, import-export documents for anything else? Electronics, textiles, anything.
Right.
Highlight those experiences.
Okay. So even if you've never actually shipped a pineapple before, if you get the main ideas behind compliance and documentation, you're good.
Exactly. The key is to present yourself as someone who can handle the paperwork and avoid costly delays or legal issues for the company.
Speaking of headaches, interview prep can be pretty stressful, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI tools come in, don't they? They can actually help you customize your answers to fit the specific job description. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
It is. It's pretty amazing. You can imagine you just put in the job description, your experience, and then RoleCatcher's AI looks at it all and suggests the most impactful skills and keywords to include in your response.
Wow. Okay, so you can really make sure you're speaking their language.
Exactly.
That's smart. Okay, question number 2. How do you stay up to date with changes in international trade regulations? I mean, come on. Are they expecting you to know every single trade law in the world?
Don't worry, you don't need to memorize the entire World Trade Organization rulebook or anything like that. This is really more about showing your passion for this field and showing that you're committed to staying in the loop.
So how do you, impress them with your answer to this one?
Well, be specific. Instead of just saying you read industry news, tell them exactly where you get your news from. Do you follow any newsletters like the Produce Marketing Association's weekly update? Are you a member of any professional organizations like the International Chamber of Commerce, the ICC?
Oh, okay, I see. So like name dropping those big organizations, it makes you sound more legit.
Yeah, exactly. And take it even a step further. Mention a recent news story about trade that caught your eye. Maybe there were some new tariffs or, I don't know, like a new development in sustainable packaging, something like that. Sharing that shows you're not just like reciting facts from a textbook, you're really plugged into the world of import-export.
I like it. So you're not just studying for the test, you're genuinely interested in the subject.
Yeah.
Okay, now before we go on to the next question, let's talk about something from the career guide that relates to this whole staying updated thing.
Sure.
The guide has this section called Elevating Your Career, and it talks about the importance of continuous learning in this field, like taking workshops, webinars, online courses, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that this industry changes all the time, so you got to keep learning if you want to stay competitive and have more opportunities in the future.
So even after you land the job, the learning never really stops.
Nope, not at all.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I'm ready for the next interview challenge. Bring it on.
All right, question number 3. This is where they want to see if you can handle a crisis. Can you provide an example of a time when you had to resolve a problem related to importing or exporting fruit and vegetables?
Time to show them you can stay cool when things get heated. Literally, like when those bananas start to brown.
Right. And a great way to structure your answer is to use the STAR method.
Okay, remind me, what does STAR stand for again?
It stands for situation, task, action, and result. It's just a way to tell a story that really highlights your skills. So, for example, imagine a shipment of avocados gets delayed because of, I don't know, some unexpected customs inspection. That's the situation. Your task is to make sure those avocados get where they need to go before they go bad. Now, what actions did you take? Did you have to negotiate with the customs officials, find a different way to transport the avocados? And finally, what was the result? Did you save the avocados? Was the client happy?
So it's like set the scene, describe the problem, explain what you specifically did, and then highlight the happy ending.
Yeah, exactly. Choose a story that shows off the skills that are important for this job, like quick thinking under pressure, good communication with different people, and maybe even a commitment to food safety.
It's like a story about saving those avocados from turning into guacamole. That'd be a good one.
Exactly. And by the way, a RoleCatcher's AI, it can actually help you create these STAR method answers. You can practice your answers and get feedback on how to make them even better. You can even use it to analyze your delivery through video practice.
Wow, that's so cool. It's like having a virtual storytelling coach. Okay, I'm ready for the next question. Hit me.
Okay, question number 4 is all about relationships. How do you manage relationships with suppliers and customers in the import-export process?
Right, so this is about more than just like sending friendly emails, right? It's about building trust and understanding with people from different cultures and time zones.
Exactly. You might be talking to a mango farmer in India one day and then a supermarket chain in Europe the next day. You've got to be able to navigate different communication styles, cultural nuances, maybe even language barriers.
Wow, that sounds both challenging and super exciting. What are some of the key things to focus on when answering this question?
You want to highlight your ability to build rapport, to communicate clearly, and to find solutions where everyone wins. Share an example from your experience, a time when you had to bridge a cultural gap or maybe resolve a conflict with a supplier or a customer or something like that.
Okay, and I'm guessing RoleCatcher can help you figure out exactly which relationship building keywords to use in your answer based on the specific job description.
You bet. And speaking of the job description, let's connect this back to the typical interactions section of the career guide. It says that import-export specialists talk to a lot of different people all the time, people from all different backgrounds, like farmers, shipping companies, government agencies. So being adaptable and being a good communicator, those things are really important.
Right, you're not just dealing with numbers on a spreadsheet. You're dealing with real people.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Okay, let's move on to question number 5.
Okay, so question number 5. This one really puts you on the spot when it comes to food safety. They'll ask you something like, how do you ensure compliance with food safety regulations in the import-export process?
Oh, yeah. This is serious business now. We're not just talking about paperwork anymore. We're talking about, protecting people's health.
Exactly. They want to know that you understand how important food safety is and that you have a system in place to make sure everything is compliant.
So how do you answer this one? Should I just list off every single food safety regulation I can think of?
Well, knowing the regulations is good, but it's even better to talk about what you've actually done in the past. Mention specific procedures you've used to guarantee the quality and safety of the produce.
Okay, so if I ever had to keep track of temperatures during shipping or make sure things are stored properly or implement pest control measures, those are all good examples.
Absolutely. They want to see you as someone who is really careful and takes initiative when it comes to food safety. Oh, and don't forget about certifications. Have you ever worked with HACCP plans?
HACCP. Remind me, what does that stand for again?
HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. Basically, it's a system for identifying and controlling anything that could potentially go wrong in the food production process.
Right, right.
Mentioning any experience you have with HACCP or even global GFP, that's another big food safety certification, it shows that you're serious about maintaining high standards.
So name dropping those certifications is a good move. And I bet RoleCatcher's AI can tell you which certifications are the most important ones to mention for the specific job you're applying for, right?
Definitely. It looks at the job description and tells you which certifications to focus on. It's all about making sure your answer is tailored to what they're looking for.
Makes sense. Okay, question number 6. Can you explain your experience with logistics and transportation in the import-export process?
Logistics. This is like the backbone of the whole import-export world. They're asking this question to make sure you know how to get those fruits and veggies from point A to point B and make sure they don't go bad along the way.
So it's not just about knowing the fastest shipping route, right?
Mhm.
What other stuff about logistics is important here?
You need to show that you understand how to ship perishable goods, how to work with freight forwarders, and how to deal with problems that might come up, like bad weather or a port getting backed up. Think about specific routes you've worked with, different ways of transporting things, and any logistics software you've used in the past.
So I've ever had to negotiate shipping rates or figure out how to deal with a delayed shipment. That all counts.
Totally. They want to know that you can handle pressure and unexpected problems. Remember how the career guide mentioned that high pressure environment?
Uh-huh.
Well, logistics is a big part of that.
Got it. So staying calm and coming up with creative solutions is key. All right, what's next on our interview question list?
Question number 7 takes us to the financial side of things. Can you explain your experience with pricing and negotiations in the import-export process?
Okay, so now we're talking about money.
Exactly. It's not enough to just know, how much a banana costs at the store. You need to understand market trends, supply and demand, and how to negotiate effectively.
So what kind of things should I talk about here? Should I tell them about how I always get the best deals at the farmer's market?
Well, being a good shopper is great, but they're looking for examples from your work experience. Have you ever negotiated a better price with a supplier? Or managed to get a higher price for a high-quality product?
Oh, okay, I see. So I should talk about my ability to analyze market data, spot good opportunities, and negotiate effectively with both suppliers and customers.
Yes, you need to show them that you have good business sense and that you can get good deals for the company.
Got it. I have to admit, the thought of negotiating international deals is a little intimidating. Does RoleCatcher have any advice on this?
For sure. The AI can look at the job description and figure out which negotiation skills are most important to mention in your answer. It can even give you feedback on your practice answers so you can refine your approach and sound more confident.
Wow, that's so helpful. It's like having a virtual negotiation coach in my pocket. Okay, on to question number 8. Can you explain your experience with managing inventory in the import-export process?
Inventory management is a big deal in this field, especially when you're dealing with things that can go bad quickly. They want to know you understand how to keep just the right amount of stock on hand so you don't end up with a bunch of wasted produce.
Right, you don't want a warehouse full of rotten avocados.
Exactly. Think about any experience you have with inventory management software, predicting demand, or putting systems in place to make things more efficient. Maybe you helped streamline the inventory process at a previous job, or maybe you're really good at spotting trends in what kinds of produce people are buying at different times of the year.
Okay, so it's not just about physically stocking shelves. It's about using data, making predictions, and optimizing a whole flow of inventory.
Exactly. And if you can connect your inventory management experience to reducing waste and saving the company money, that makes your answer even stronger.
Good point. Okay, before we move on, I want to bring up something from the career guide that's related to inventory management. The guide mentions that market fluctuations can be a big challenge in this industry. How does managing inventory help you deal with those unpredictable ups and downs in supply and demand?
That's a great question. Being able to predict demand accurately and adjust your inventory levels is really important when the market is constantly changing. A good import-export specialist can help the company minimize losses when demand suddenly drops, or take advantage of opportunities when something becomes really popular all of a sudden.
Wow, so it's all about being strategic and adaptable. Okay, let's move on to question number 9. What else do we need to be ready for?
This one is all about your inner entrepreneur. Can you explain your experience with market research and identifying new import-export opportunities?
Oh, so now they want to know if I can spot the next big trend.
Exactly. They want to see that you're not just following everyone else, you're out there looking for new markets and exciting new products.
Okay, what kind of example should I give them? Should I tell them about that time I found a weird new fruit at the farmer's market?
Well, your personal adventures are cool, but they're looking for examples of your professional market research skills. Have you ever analyzed market data to figure out what products are missing? Did you ever find a new supplier with a really unique product? Or maybe you spotted a new market where there's a growing demand for a certain kind of produce.
Okay, so it's about taking initiative, doing your research,
Yeah.
and then explaining how your findings can help the company.
Exactly. And remember, it's important to connect your ideas to the company's goals. How can your market research skills help them expand their business, make more money, or reach new customers?
Right, I need to show them that I can not only find good opportunities, but also explain why those opportunities are good for the company.
Got it. Now, before we move on, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, the potential for high earnings in this field. Does the career guide say anything more about that? It does. The pros section mentions that import-export specialists with a lot of experience, especially those who know a lot about high-demand products or new and emerging markets, can make really good money.
Oh, wow. So this is a field where hard work and expertise really pay off.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay, I'm ready for the final question on our interview prep journey. Let's hear it.
All right, this last one is all about leadership. Can you explain your experience with managing a team in the import-export process?
Okay, time to put on my captain's hat. But what if I haven't actually had a management position before? Can I still answer this question?
Absolutely. Leadership isn't just about job titles. Think about times when you've taken charge, mentored other people, or worked really well in a team.
So if I can show that I'm a good communicator, that I can delegate tasks effectively, and that I can motivate others, that counts as leadership.
Yes. You can even talk about your experience with resolving conflicts or creating a positive work environment. Even if you haven't officially been a manager, showing that you have these skills means you have the potential to be a great leader.
Okay, I like that. I'm feeling more confident already. Now, does RoleCatcher's AI offer any help with this leadership question?
Of course. It can look at the job description and see what kind of leadership qualities they're looking for. Maybe they want someone who's collaborative, or maybe they want someone who's a really strong communicator. RoleCatcher can help you tailor your answer to highlight those specific qualities.
That's awesome. It's like having a personal leadership coach prepping you for the interview. Okay, so we've gone through all 10 interview questions, and I'm feeling a lot more prepared now. What's next on our agenda?
So we've taken you through 10 tough interview questions, added in some insights from RoleCatcher's career guide, and even explored how their AI can give you that extra edge. Are you feeling ready to tackle that interview?
Way more prepared than when we started, that's for sure. But it's not just about, like, memorizing answers, right? You got to show them you're genuinely excited about this whole world of fruit and veggie import-export.
Yeah, absolutely. Enthusiasm, that's contagious, and interviewers can tell right away if you're truly passionate about this field.
So how do you, like, project that passion, even when you're nervous?
Think about why you wanted this job in the first place. What got you excited about it? Was it the fast-paced, global nature of the work, the challenge of solving these crazy logistical puzzles, or maybe just like the idea of bringing fresh, healthy food to people all over the world?
Right, right. Tap into that feeling and let it come out in your answers.
Speaking of, exciting things, I remember the career guide mentioned exposure to different cultures as a perk of this job. It must be amazing to work with people from all over the globe.
It really is. And that brings us back to those relationship building skills we were talking about earlier. Building those strong connections with suppliers and customers from different cultures, that's a key to success in this role.
For sure. And RoleCatcher's AI, it can help you highlight those skills in your answers, right? It's like having a cultural advisor in your pocket giving you tips.
Exactly. It can look at the job description and suggest the best ways to show off your ability to communicate clearly, bridge cultural gaps, and build relationships that last. Okay, so we've covered the what to say, the skills you need, and even how to show up with the right attitude. What's your final piece of advice for someone about to walk into that interview room?
Remember, it's not an interrogation, it's a conversation. Be yourself, be enthusiastic, and let your personality shine through.
I love that. It's not about just ticking boxes. It's about showing them who you are and why you'd be a great fit for their team.
Exactly. And one more thing, remember that whole continuous learning idea we talked about? Let them see that you're eager to learn, to grow, and to embrace the fact that this industry is always changing.
Okay, to wrap things up, I want to leave you with this thought. What makes you uniquely qualified for this role? What are those experiences, skills, or even just, quirky things about you that would make you the ideal import-export specialist for this company? Think about that, because that's what will really make you stand out.
That's a great point to end on. It's not about fitting into some mold, it's about being you.
Exactly. So go out there, rock that interview, and let your passion for produce shine through. And hey, if you need a little extra help along the way, RoleCatcher's got you covered with all those great resources and AI tools.
Good luck. We're rooting for you.
That's it for our deep dive today. See you next time.